live, man! Sunday afternoon, WWE has the horror show. The horror show, man, tonight for Extreme Rules. Little do they know the horror show happens every single week for 52 weeks a year on Monday and Friday. I don't need a swamp match to live in the horror show. We live through it every Monday and Friday, guys. Thank you all so very much for joining me. We are going to go over the Extreme Rules, the horror show at Extreme Rules, preview and predictions. I got news, what matches are going to be on the show, what matches are not going to be on the show, how I would book this goddamn disaster that is Extreme Rules for 2020. We're going to do it all right here on Off the Script.
Delete! Come on.
Alive with you. People still What is going on, guys? Thank you so very much for joining me right here on Off the Script. It is your Extreme Rules Sunday, and as usual, right here on the podcast, we do a live stream on YouTube, if I can, and we go over the preview and predictions for what is this Sunday, tonight, Extreme Rules, the horror show at Extreme Rules. Again, thank you guys so very much for joining me. This is the unofficial, I would say. I guess it's a part of the podcast this weekend, episode 335. This will be your part number 2 for, what is today's date? July 19th, 2020. How many of you guys actually watched the Impact Slammiversary pay-per-view last night? I actually watched it. I sat down with a nice meal, a couple of cold beverages, and for the most part, I actually enjoyed myself watching an Impact show. Usually when they put on these shows, Impact does deliver. Slammiversary and Bound for Glory are probably the only shows that I watch coming out of Impact Wrestling and have watched for the last couple of years. They built the entire show around surprises and who was coming in from the WWE that was released on Black Wednesday due to the COVID-19 budget cuts that the WWE made. You had names floating out there like Heath Slater. He made his debut on Impact last night. He had a run-in with Rhino backstage. We had Eric Young make his return to Impact Wrestling. He was actually in the main event. It got changed from a fatal 4-way to a fatal 5-way. And we got Rich Swann as the mystery, I guess, surprise, with Eric Young coming out and then being a second surprise, so they kind of got you there. Main event was pretty good. Eddie Edwards walked out with the Impact World Heavyweight Championship that was vacated because of Tessa Blanchard. And then we got the EC3 vignette to close the show. I don't know what his deal is with Impact. I don't think it's exclusive with Impact. From what I understand and from what I know and what I've been told, the only exclusive deals that Impact have with anybody are with Gallows and Anderson. They're exclusive with Impact, and I do think that their deals allow them to work New Japan Pro Wrestling. But as far as the overall show, I enjoyed it. I really did. I don't know if... I know I was just talking to Jesse before the live stream went on the air. He did not like the non-sound that was wherever they were emanating from. But for some reason, I watched the show, and a part of me actually enjoyed what Impact did more than what WWE did when they had empty arenas. I don't know if it's the sound. I don't know if it's the way that they have the ring mic'd up. But for whatever reason, I felt like there was more energy in the in the empty arena with all the just silence. There was more energy on that Impact show than there was at any WWE show that I watched with no fans or no attendance or no nothing. It was just unbelievably bizarre to me. I don't know why I enjoyed it and felt like I was a little bit more involved with the show than I would watch a WWE show when there was no fans or no sound coming out of the arena. I don't know. Maybe it was Josh Matthews. Maybe Josh Matthews did such a great job on commentary, which I'm lying, I'm bullshitting you. He is just absolutely insufferable to listen to. But for the overall show, Slammiversary was a very good show. I enjoyed Chris Bay versus Willie Mack. That was a great match. Willie Mack is so underrated. He really is. And I would love to, I even said it on Twitter last night, I would love to see Willie Mack on a bigger stage. He's just so good at what he does. You know, Chris Bay is obviously, you watch him, that's somebody that Cody Rhodes wanted, but it was too late. He signed an extension with Impact for 2 years, and you could see why Cody Rhodes wanted him for AEW, but that was a great match. My favorite match of the entire night was probably Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace. They absolutely killed it. It may go down as one of the best women matches of the entire year. Deonna Purrazzo was so good. I don't understand, and I would love an explanation from somebody in WWE, and please don't give me the tired excuse of, we didn't have creative for her. I mean, that's just ridiculous. They let her go. They didn't use her. They didn't give her any opportunity whatsoever in NXT. She comes over to Impact in one night and is turning heads. I don't really understand that. How do you fuck that up? It's just so stupid how they just let talent slip through the fingers. And I said it on Twitter last night when I was talking about that match when Deonna Purrazzo won the Impact Women's World Championship. It's almost as if you can see the agenda and the political push for favoritism in WWE. Clearly, she wasn't chosen for a priority role in NXT or in WWE because of certain reasons. And you can see that there is favoritism in the WWE because if they based everything on sheer talent, then that woman would have gotten an opportunity for herself to show everybody how good she is, and they did not even give her one. It's just so sad to see, really. But that was a great match. Really, really good stuff coming out of the Deonna Purrazzo and Jordynne Grace match. And then the tag team title match, I really enjoyed, man. I love tag team wrestling. I really do. I know who the North is. I watched them wrestle previously, but I'm not an avid watcher of Impact Wrestling. They are fucking great. Ethan Page is just so good at what he does. The collective of both of them are just so good. And who's the other guy? Josh Alexander. Fucking great, man. I love the fact that tag team wrestling is thriving in 2020. Everywhere but WWE. Go figure, right? AEW. Impact. It's just, in the United States, WWE is on the back end of tag team wrestling. They were, at least in NXT, with NXT really giving you great tag team wrestling. You can't even say that about NXT anymore. It's sad to see what tag team wrestling has resulted in WWE. But that match with Ken Shamrock and Sami Callihan, I'm a big fan of Sami. I've praised Sami over and over again. And you put him in any promotion, he's a main event guy in my eyes. The guy is just so involved with what he does. He loves what he does. He's passionate about what he does. You know, I've had the pleasure of calling matches for him in House of Glory. It was some of my favorite matches doing commentary when Sami was in the ring, man. It's just so fun. You gotta fucking be there to sit there and watch and call his matches, man. It's just great stuff. Ken Shamrock, he looks great for his age, don't get me wrong. But Ken Shamrock looked gassed. Ken Shamrock looked like a deer in headlights at some points in the match. It was just a little weird seeing him just lost during certain segments of the match. I believe towards the end of it, Sami did a spike pile driver on somebody. I don't know who it was on. But he just stood there. It looked like Sami was going to get the win after the pile driver, win the tag team titles for his team. And Ken Shamrock was just standing there right behind Sami, mindless of the fact that there was another member of the North in the ring, possibly breaking up that pinfall combination. It was so stupid. He looked like a deer in headlights, but Outside of that, there were minor, production issues with Impact, and it resulted in a pretty decent show. So I give it a thumbs up a thumbs up effort for sure for Slammiversary. I didn't really feel like coming on here and doing a live review, but it is what it is, man. I enjoyed myself, and kudos to Impact Wrestling. They delivered on the hype, and everybody's been saying it on social media. They're right now heading in the right direction. So good for them. It's good to see them succeed in what right now is a very depressing time for pro wrestling. Thank you guys so much for joining me. We're going to talk Extreme Rules right here on the podcast. We got some super chats coming in. Thank you guys so very much for that already. We'll go over them. I need a tall lamp. What are you talking about? Melissa says, I need a tall lamp. Why, is it dark? I like the darkness. Let me sit in my fucking dark room, will you? I'd open the fucking windows, but it's just as dark outside. I don't know where you guys are watching me from, man, but it's nothing but hazy fog just covering the entire city. It's just ridiculous. Anyway, thank you guys for joining me. We got some super chats. We're going to go over them throughout the entire show, and we're going to go over the predictions for Extreme Rules. I'm going to give you some creative pitches for tonight. Some of the matches are already taped. Some of the matches are going to be live. And we got some cinematic matches as well with the Swamp fight. And then part of the Seth Rollins and Rey Mysterio match, according to sources, I don't know this for sure, is going to be cinematic, as there's going to be some CGI elements for the conclusion of that match because somebody's eyeball has to be ripped out of their eye socket, which I think is absolutely just sheer stupidity. But we're going to go over that. I got some news. I got some notes. We're going to have a good time right here on Off the Script live for your Extreme Rules Sunday. Today's podcast is brought to you by my good friends over at Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Go get yourself 30 days free of their service and one free audiobook of your choice. So I want to thank Audible for sponsoring the podcast right here on Off the Script Sunday for Extreme Rules. If you missed Off the Script yesterday, we talked about SummerSlam and the SummerSlam script being written up. And I gave my pitch for what I would do with SummerSlam over 2 nights on Saturday and Sunday. I'm not sure if that's the case. I'm not sure if they're going to go 2 nights with SummerSlam, but I gave you guys my creative pitch for booking an entire SummerSlam card, being that WWE ripped up their original script for SummerSlam. So if you guys missed that on Off the Script for Saturday, go and check that out. It is live on the channel right now. I would really appreciate it. So thank you to all that came out and supported that particular podcast yesterday. If you guys missed my Monday Night Raw review, I got a dual podcast with AEW and NXT, and then SmackDown, of course, which were down in the ratings on Friday. Not surprising there. Everything you guys need for your week is covered on Off the Script. Links are down below in the description. Patreon.com/JD206. Make sure you guys support through that. Really appreciate that. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell for all notifications. Hit that thumbs up on the stream. We already got 230 thumbs up. Continue to hit that thumbs up button. It helps out the video and it helps out the stream immensely. I can't begin to stress that enough. Thank you guys if you're listening on Spotify and iTunes. And most importantly, I will be live tonight with Extreme Rules and the post show right here on Off the Script. Notifications should be live before the pay-per-view goes into effect on Sunday night tonight. And all I need is Sal Rex to make me a thumbnail, and we are good to go. I will be live for Extreme Rules and the Off the Script post-show. Jesse's in the chat. What's up, buddy? Britt Baker is not a role model, assholes, he says. Bro, listen, you're lying to yourself, okay? You're lying to yourself, bro. Please, please. Become one of us and worship the role model that is Britt Baker, okay? None of this shit in the chat. Don't start with me today. I'm going to have to dump you, okay? Anyway, let's get into the news and rumors here, folks. I got an interesting story here on WWE and their backstage script writing process for not only Extreme Rules tonight, but Monday Night Raw and SmackDown on Fox. Now, this is coming from Ringside News. This is new information, so I was pretty surprised when I read this. Now, we all know that Bruce, my good old buddy Bruce, over there, who's sleepy, tired, and exhausted. I wonder why. Anybody that works for Vince McMahon is all of those things plus some. But we all know Bruce is the executive director of Monday Night and Friday Night. Now, Ringside News is reportedly stating that the horror show at Extreme Rules script is not done yet. Surprise, surprise. And that they're cutting it close. Now, we don't really know that for fact. We don't really know that for sure. But I would not be surprised if the script is not done yet and not fully approved by Vince McMahon. We probably are sitting here and Vince McMahon's mulling over creative decisions right now as we speak, still leading up to showtime, probably during the show, going to be altering winners and losers as the show is live on the WWE Network. Now, they have been told by a current member of the writing team that scripts for Raw are written mostly by Ryan Ward and somebody by the name of John Backstrom. Ed Koskey has been getting more involved in the booking of Raw as of late, and you see its decline. So if the shows are generating the lowest ratings of all time, then Ed Koskey is a cancer to Monday Night Raw, and things need to change ASAP. But that could be because Vince McMahon can decide to talk about Raw with Koskey if he chooses. So Koskey is one of Vince McMahon's ball ticklers, is what that means. So that's exactly what that means. Once the script is completed, the assignments are sent out to writers via a business communication platform known as Slack. They use a business communication platform known as Slack. Now, I never heard of this before. I don't even know what the fuck Slack is. But the fucking fact of the matter is that they use a communication platform known as Slack. And these people are the biggest slackers that I've ever seen in the industry. It's just fucking comedy gold. It really is. It's essentially a professional chat room and a messaging service. The writing staff then contributes ideas and writes promos via this Slack platform. Now, Ringside News is told that Koskey has a more interactive method with the SmackDown team. One source in the company said Koskey works differently with his team because Koskey knows how to work with people more than Ward and Backstrom. But what does that have to do with writing the show? What does that have to do with formatting the show? He may work differently with his team than Ryan Ward or Backstrom works with their teams, but that doesn't mean Ed Koskey knows how to fucking write a show. Clearly, the Monday Night Raw ratings have really accumulated the top 5 worst ratings of their entire fucking history in this single calendar year. So, I don't know who's hanging their hat on that one, or who thinks that when they show up to work that they're doing a good job. But bro, listen, you ain't doing anything right now, and the show needs an absolute fucking nuking from top to bottom. Please. The show is fucking terrible. Mostly. There are things and people on the show that I do like, but the show overall is just god-awful. 3 hours, nauseating television. Now, it should be noted that Bruce Pritchard doesn't write the scripts. He doesn't write the scripts. We know that for sure. I can tell you that right now. I'm not surprised to hear that. Bruce doesn't write the scripts. That's why you got writers. That's why you got Ryan Ward and guys like that. It was specifically told to Ringside News that he's not relied on for creative. Pritchard's job is to make sure the writing team communicates with other departments. Pritchard is the boss of the writing team, but he's not a writer. So clearly he's one of those guys that sits and goes over everything and then probably has the power to, I guess, elicit change. You don't like this, let me change this. This is not right, let me change this outcome. Something along those lines. And then he sends it off to Vince McMahon, where Vince McMahon approves it. Now, he doesn't write the scripts. He's not relied on for creative. He makes sure the writing team communicates with other departments. Bruce Pritchard is not the boss of the writing team. Pritchard does more overall booking direction and sometimes gets into the nitty-gritty. So Pritchard is a part of the overall booking direction of both of these shows. So if you don't like where something goes, Bruce is definitely to blame. And after what we've seen on Friday, Matt Riddle losing in his first month already, you can blame that on Bruce. Absolutely fucking ridiculous. More often than not, it's Koski on SmackDown, Ward and Backstrom on Raw, who are leading the pitch of the individual segments. Pritchard does the overall booking, so he's the one right in the middle of both these guys. Just figure it as a triangle. He's here. Then you got both of these separate entities. You got Ryan Ward and Backstrom, and then Ed Koski, and then Bruce is up here, and then Vince is above Bruce Pritchard. In the end, everything still needs to be approved by the old man before making it to television. Ringside News has heard plenty of stories about McMahon, they say, ripping up scripts. We've reported McMahon ripping up scripts. I said something on Saturday in regards to SummerSlam's script being written up and changed for whatever reason on the day of a show even. Now you know what kind of effort it takes to come up with content for Raw and SmackDown. Once Koski, Ward, and Backstrom and their teams have the shows ready, the shows are reviewed by Vince, who then makes changes or sometimes changes everything in regards to the script, a full rewrite in some situations. So that is right now the writing process, giving you guys a glimpse into the writing process for what we will see tonight with the horror show at Extreme Rules. You might as well, or we might as well, get into the overall show. Might as well just start at the top here, man. We got Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt in the Swamp Fight, the Wyatt Swamp Fight match. Now, I do have news on this. I really do have news on this, and one is a spoiler. So if you guys don't want to hear the spoiler, then please don't watch, but I don't really think anybody watching me gives a shit about the spoiler, because half of you are probably not even going to watch the show. So that's that. But there is a spoiler here, so you have been given a warning. There is a spoiler for the Braun Strowman-Bray Wyatt Swamp Fight match. Now, this is a non-title match. The Universal Championship is not on the line. Braun Strowman has been an absolute waste as the Universal Champion. He has not made the championship any better. In fact, the championship looks absolutely dead to rights on the shoulder of Braun Strowman. He lucked into the position of being Universal Champion. He was chosen because Roman Reigns decided to be the smart one and sit home here. And obviously he abused his power because Roman Reigns knows that he's not going to be fired. He's not going to be fined. He's not going to have any back lip by WWE management. He's not going to be asked to come on in. Roman Reigns knows that he can go home for the rest of the year, show up when things get better, and slide right back into that top spot and not lose sleep over the fact that, oh my God, I'm losing my job. Oh my God, I'm losing my position. Oh my God, I'm losing my push. Oh my God, I'm never going to be a champion again. Roman Reigns used his power for the greater good of Roman Reigns. Braun Strowman was the only one that WWE decided to pick for this situation. He beat Goldberg at WrestleMania. He is now a locked-in, default, transitional WWE Universal Champion. And we all know where this match is going to go. And more than likely, it will be Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman at SummerSlam for the Universal Championship. And that Bray Wyatt will be The Fiend. Now, I'm actually, believe it or not, I am actually a little bit excited for this match, just based on the situation that I much rather see these guys in this type of environment than in an actual wrestling ring, giving us an actual wrestling match, because we all know Braun Strowman doesn't wrestle. Braun Strowman's a terrible professional wrestler, but he runs fast. Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman, Bray Wyatt is a very good professional wrestler, but Braun Strowman, forget about it. I do not like the clash of styles there. I'd much rather see them in this situation than in an actual wrestling match. So I am excited to see what type of theatrics WWE gives us here. I'm hearing that they are already done with the filming. This was filmed on Thursday. And actually the news is we got the three faces of Wyatt for this feud are going to be portrayed, and all three of his characters are going to be in this particular feud. Now, WrestleVote sent out the update on this match earlier in the week, which noted that while WWE did face delays in filming this match, the match was taped on Thursday, and he says, and I quote, or they say, and I quote, after some delays, I'm told the Swamp Fight for Extreme Rules was filmed on July 16 in Florida. I'm very curious to see what location they filmed that, where they filmed it, what they did to pretty it up and really make it fit the overall vibe of what a Louisiana swamp fight should be. And I wonder if there's going to be alligators or snakes or any live creatures that a swamp would really, I guess, be known for. So I'm really curious to see what happens in regards to that. It's all going to be down to execution for this thing. And sometimes these things are a big hit, like The Undertaker and AJ Styles, or sometimes they are a big miss with the, what was that? The fucking Wyatt family compound match that they did, the House of Horrors with Bray Wyatt and Randy Orton, right? That match really wasn't good at all. Whatever they did in that match was slow, and it was just methodical, and it was just really just at a slow snail's pace. It really didn't elicit any excitement whatsoever. The scenery that went into that was okay, but the overall match itself was not very good at all. It's all going to come down to execution for this match. Is it going to be a situation where they're brawling and it's going to be really heavy fisticuffs? Are they really going to go at it? Or is it going to be something that is going to be slow, methodical? They're going to take their time. I read that the filming lasted about 6 or 7 hours. It's going to be cut down to anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes of a swamp fight tonight for Extreme Rules. It's all going to be in the execution. They can't really go at a snail's pace, otherwise it's going to be fucking boring. So if it's resembling the Boneyard match between The Undertaker and AJ Styles, I should be good to go, and you guys should be good to go as well. Now, the ending. Who wins this thing? I've been saying that Braun Strowman should win this, and then obviously Bray Wyatt gets pulled into the fucking swamp, or whatever the case may be, and he comes back as The Fiend for SummerSlam. Braun Strowman, at that point, if he wins, is not going to be the one to kill Bray Wyatt here and now in the swamp fight, and that The Fiend will come back and be the final face of fear for Braun Strowman and take the title off of Braun Strowman at SummerSlam. We've all kind of insinuated that even before this thing got to the swamp fight stipulation. But I could see Braun Strowman winning. I could also see Bray Wyatt winning this thing because it's a non-title match. And I'm thinking in a very pro wrestling-esque mentality. If Bray Wyatt wins a non-title match, he beat the Universal Champion in a non-title match, which would warrant him a Universal Championship match, which would, at that point, we would get The Fiend at SummerSlam. But I don't think WWE is going to go that route. I don't think WWE is going to go the traditional route because nothing about this match is traditional. In fact, the spoiler, and I'm giving you guys a warning, this is the spoiler, the match outcome is described as something similar to Jason from Friday the 13th, where someone is taken away or disappears completely. It wasn't mentioned whether this would be Strowman or Wyatt, but it was noted that whoever it is will eventually return to TV to resume this program. It was said that Wyatt had a heavy influence on this match, so if it's his creative, I'm sure it's going to be very good because Wyndham is a very creative individual, and Vince McMahon was not involved at all, which is the key to this story. Vince McMahon was not involved in anything regarding this match and what we will see portrayed in this swamp fight, which right there is gold, because if Vince McMahon is not involved, more than likely it's going to be good. So that should generate some excitement on your guys' end as well. And that's something we'll be able to notice immediately when we're watching it. Vince McMahon involved, you know. Vince McMahon not involved, you know. So that's going to be something interesting to look out for. If the ending is going to be something from the Friday the 13th horror movies and someone's going to be dragged into the swamp and disappear, and that's going to be the outcome of the match, I'm thinking that's going to be Bray Wyatt because that kind of fits into his character. They're going to kill the old version of Bray Wyatt because WWE never gave a shit about that version of Bray Wyatt anyway. This will be their opportunity to finally kill that version of Bray Wyatt off completely. And then, with him being dragged into the swamp, then Braun Strowman can go on and think, oh, ha, ha, I killed Bray Wyatt. No, you didn't. You got one more face of Bray Wyatt looming, and that is the most deadly version of Bray Wyatt, which is The Fiend. So that's that. So that's how we're going to get Bray Wyatt and Braun Strowman as The Fiend, Bray Wyatt, against Braun Strowman at SummerSlam. So that is what's going to happen there. I also pitched the idea on Saturday's show. If WWE wanted to have Bray Wyatt lose here and really give you guys a sense of him being dragged into the swamp. I didn't mention this on Saturday's show, but I did insinuate if Bray Wyatt does lose this match And he gets dragged into the swamp, like this report is saying from Wrestling Inc. And we go into SummerSlam in the 4 weeks to go till SummerSlam. How is that going to warrant Bray Wyatt to get a championship match at Braun Strowman at SummerSlam? I pitched the idea of Otis. Now, I don't know if Otis is going to make a appearance here in this match. I doubt it. But Otis, believe it or not, you guys might have forgotten because he's not been portrayed on TV. If Otis is the Money in the Bank briefcase holder, Bray Wyatt could somehow just reappear and kind of convince Otis to put the briefcase on the line in a match on SmackDown. They want to generate ratings. That's a pretty decent storyline to go at. They could generate ratings by Otis putting the Money in the Bank briefcase on the line, having Bray Wyatt manipulate Otis to put the briefcase on the line. Mandy is telling him, no, 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 no. Otis is manipulated so much by Bray Wyatt, and Bray Wyatt does whatever mentally to Otis that he does put the briefcase on the line. Bray Wyatt wins the briefcase on SmackDown, cashes it in against Braun Strowman. You can even have Braun Strowman in this thing. Please, Otis, don't do it. Don't fall for his trickery, etc., etc. Bray Wyatt wins the briefcase, and now Braun Strowman, because he tried so desperately to convince Otis of not putting the briefcase on the line because he knows exactly what his fear is going to result in, and Otis loses. Bray Wyatt gets the briefcase. Bray Wyatt cashes it in on Braun Strowman, and Braun Strowman's fears are coming to life. They're becoming a reality, and that's how we get the Fiend at SummerSlam. Because you're not doing anything with Otis in the briefcase anyway. He's not been on TV. Nobody believes in Otis being a Universal Champion. Nobody believes he's going to cash in. Everybody pretty much is thinking, all right, Otis is the Money in the Bank briefcase holder. He's going to cash in. He's going to be one of those guys that loses it. So why did you give him the briefcase in the first place? So that's another way to maybe get the briefcase off Otis, which is not doing anything, give it to Bray Wyatt, put it to good use, cash it in on Braun Strowman, get the Fiend and Braun Strowman at SummerSlam through that way. So we'll see. But apparently, according to Wrestling Inc., it's going to have a horror movie vibe, a.k.a. The Horror Show, and we're going to get some Jason from Friday the 13th vibes with the ending and somebody being dragged into the swamp. Who I think is going to win, you can make a case for any one of them winning. But I'm going with Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt. If this report is correct, which I do believe, I think Bray Wyatt's going to get dragged into the swamp, and we are going to have Braun Strowman win the Wyatt Swamp fight at Extreme Rules. Seth Rollins versus Rey Mysterio in an eye for an eye match. We all know this is fucking stupid. We all know that this does not make for a very believable situation. We all watch pro wrestling. We know it is a scripted program. But we want some type of logic. We want some type of believability in this thing. We all know for a fact going into this and then coming out of it that one of these guys is not losing an eyeball for real. The WWE wants us to believe that somebody's going to be losing their eyeball. It's not going to be Seth Rollins. WWE has Seth Rollins full-time on Monday Night Raw. Seth Rollins is not walking around with a fucking eye patch. He's not going to walk around as Pirate Rollins, Captain Rollins, manning his fucking pirate ship. Arm the cannons, matey! Arr! You know, we're not going to be seeing that. In fact, I have a theme song already queued up for Seth Rollins if he does plan on going pirate. Iced Earth, Black Flag. That's his new theme song. Great song for Seth Rollins. Great song in general. I love me some Iced Earth. And they're from Florida. But no, Rollins is not going to be a pirate. Rey Mysterio, the thing with this is his contract is up. WWE does not have Rey Mysterio under WWE contract. In fact, Vince McMahon is putting a lot of trust in Rey Mysterio to not screw him over. The Wrestling Observer newsletter noted something rather telling about how much Vince McMahon trusts Rey Mysterio not to screw him over. He could technically show up on Dynamite or show up on Impact, wherever he wants to go, and there would be no legal recourse. It's notable because in this type of environment with competition, from a legal standpoint, Rey Mysterio could show up on Dynamite next week and challenge Cody Rhodes for the TNT Championship. I do think, by the way, that's going to be Zack Ryder. I do think Matt Cardona is going to show up on Dynamite on Wednesday. That's just my guess. If not, next week, the next live episode of Dynamite, which would be the week after. I do think that Matt Cardona, a.k.a. Zack Ryder, is going to show up on Dynamite and get in the ring with Cody, and boom, he's signed with AEW. Mysterio could show up and challenge Cody Rhodes for the TNT Championship. He could show up with a fucking eye patch, sell the injury, sell the missing eyeball, show up without an eye patch and say, fuck the storyline. But he could do any one of these things. Now, that isn't going to happen, and Vince is having a lot of trust right now in Mysterio to book a guy in a key pay-per-view angle who could legally walk into another promotion, a rival promotion, and pretty much say, fuck you, to WWE and Vince McMahon. Mysterio, the reason why he's not going to do that is because of Dominic. Dominic is actually being held as leverage by WWE. Dominic has a performer's contract in WWE. He's training at was training at the WWE Performance Center. He's training to be a WWE superstar. So WWE is right now likely the best option for Dominic's success in pro wrestling. There's also a possibility that AEW is willing to match Rey Mysterio's offer when Vince McMahon declined to give Rey Mysterio a raise. Now, I don't know where those talks have kind of gotten at this point. Maybe WWE realizes that Rey Mysterio, after this, could eventually walk, and they do give him a raise just to keep him around, because Rey Mysterio does want to be around his son as his son becomes a professional wrestler. And it was even noted that Rey Mysterio wants a tag team match with Dominic. Now, does he work this entire angle, finish this angle, and then leave? How does he know that WWE is going to take care of Dominic? Now, we all know Rey Mysterio is not an idiot. I hope he isn't. We all know what WWE does. When they want to be petty, WWE will be petty. They will bury Dominic if Rey Mysterio ends up saying, you know what, I'm going to take this offer from Cody and Tony Khan, and I'm going to go to AEW. I'm going to show up on Dynamite next week. I'm leaving my son in your hands. You think WWE is going to treat Dominic the way that you expect them to treat Dominic because he's the son of Rey Mysterio? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. They will be as petty as ever if Rey Mysterio goes to AEW. So that may be hindering him. Rey Mysterio wants a match with Dominic. Does Seth Rollins win? I think Seth Rollins wins this. I can't see Seth Rollins losing this match. Seth Rollins wins here. And do we get the conclusion of this storyline at SummerSlam, where we see Rollins and Murphy team up against Mysterio and Dominic in a tag team match? Because Mysterio wanted to work with Dominic in a tag team match. He wanted to work a tag team match with his son. I don't know. Now, I wouldn't even have booked this thing. WWE thinks that, oh my God, we're going to have somebody have their eyeball pulled out. We got to really amp up the aura of the horror show. Meanwhile, it's fucking stupid. Maybe WWE thought that this would get some people to subscribe to the WWE Network. Hey, we're promoting somebody's eyeball being pulled out, and think that might generate interest in subscribers subscribing to the network. I doubt it. I don't know why. I think a lot of people are looking at this as some fucking sick comedy joke. Are they fucking serious? So I don't think WWE is really going to have interest in this thing. They're just going to wait to see it online or on Monday Night Raw. Why are they going to subscribe to a network to watch somebody's eyeball be pulled out? That's what WWE's mentality is. Oh, we'll get some subscriptions out of it. I doubt it. I doubt many anyway. But Rey Mysterio is losing this thing. We could get the tag team match at SummerSlam. We could get Rollins and Kevin Owens again at SummerSlam. I reported on Off the Script yesterday that Kevin Owens is going to be featured at the top of the card on SummerSlam's card. A match with Seth Rollins is probably the likely outcome there, which I don't really have any interest in. That ended at WrestleMania. We've seen it again on Monday Night Raw. Yes, we get it. They work well together. They are very good in the ring together. That doesn't mean I need to see it every single fucking week. Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins is something that should have ended at WrestleMania. Now we're revisiting it again. Ed Koskey, where's his number? Let me speak to him. Give me a fucking break. Nobody wants to see that. You're actually wasting Kevin Owens at that point. There's got to be something else for Kevin Owens to do at SummerSlam outside of Seth Rollins. The tag team match could work. The tag team match could work. I initially pitched the idea, and this is an old House of Glory storyline that the Amazing Red and Anthony Gangone came up with. Dominic should really be the stipulation. Dominic should be put on the line, and this match should be for Dominic's services. Rey Mysterio should be the one fighting for his son. Dominic goes into business for himself because Ray doesn't want to deal with Seth Rollins anymore. Dominic is looking at his father. Why aren't you going after this guy? He is ruining our family. Amp it up a little bit. Dominic goes into business for himself. He challenges Seth Rollins. Management gets involved. They won't sanction the match. Rey Mysterio's trying to convince his son, this is not your fight, this is my fight. I'll do it when I'm ready. Rey Mysterio has no choice but to fight for his son's honor. Seth Rollins demands, all right, I can't fight your son. I want to fight you. Your son's on the line. If your son is the focus of this match, right? He wants to fight me. You have to fight for his honor or whatever. And Rey Mysterio loses, and then Dominic becomes one of Seth Rollins' disciples. And he has him do whatever he needs. He has him do whatever he wants. And then that could be Rey Mysterio's final goodbye, you know? But I would have went that way instead of doing this silly fucking over-the-top theatrics with the eyeball. I don't know how it's going to look. It could be terrible. It could be something that really is cool. And, oh my God, they did it. They pulled it off. Once in a lifetime. I'm not expecting much out of this. I'm going with Rey Mysterio to lose this thing. And Rollins is obviously going to go on and move on from this Rey Mysterio storyline. And more than likely, from what I reported yesterday and from what I seen on TV, Kevin Owens is going to get involved and we're going to get Rollins and Owens at SummerSlam again. But that doesn't really bode well for Monday Night Raw in the interest of Monday Night Raw because we've seen this storyline already. WWE could have somebody else for Seth Rollins at SummerSlam. They could have saved the Aleister Black match for SummerSlam. They could have done a first time ever with Black and Rollins at SummerSlam instead of going back to the well again with Rey Mysterio and Kevin Owens and then having all these tag team matches that just feel the same every single week. You know, I do not want to see Owens and Rollins at SummerSlam, but it looks like we're heading that way. And Rey Mysterio is definitely going to be the one to lose an eyeball tonight at Extreme Rules. Moving on with the rest of the card, man, we got MVP versus Apollo Crews for the United States Championship. I actually got some news on Apollo Crews. He actually commented on Paul Heyman being removed as executive director of Monday Night Raw. He spoke with Newsweek and did an interview with Newsweek.com where he was asked about the creative change and how that impacts him on Monday Night Raw as the United States Champion. He says, and I quote, "Since I've shown that I'm reliable and trustworthy, it doesn't necessarily matter too much, so that helps me in that sense." Oh, it absolutely does matter. It does matter. WWE doesn't look at how reliable you are. WWE doesn't look at how trustworthy you are. Sometimes they do. In this particular case, during the pandemic era, Asuka was definitely looked at as somebody that came to work, didn't complain, got her shit on television, and then was rewarded with the Raw Women's Championship. WWE could have easily won with anybody else in that match. They opted to give Asuka the Raw Women's Championship, and I don't know for sure, but I have a good feeling that Asuka showing up to work and being a solid soldier in the pandemic era, coming out of the Performance Center, showing up every week, really having great matches when people wanted to sit home or people didn't want to show up or people complained about not showing up, etc., etc. WWE really gave Asuka a nice reward by being there and being reliable. Sometimes it works. In this case, I don't think WWE is looking at Apollo Crews as being reliable and trustworthy. I honestly think that they're scheming to take the title off of him because he was a Paul Heyman project and they want to undo everything Paul Heyman did on Monday Night Raw. That's just the feeling I get with Apollo Crews, and he deserves so much more than that. It doesn't necessarily help me in that sense. I don't feel like it's going to work against me. Working with Heyman was fantastic. He was so hands-on with me, and he helped me a lot. He was one of the main reasons for getting me this opportunity. I'm very thankful for everything he's done for me and helped me with. All I could do is look forward to the future, and I'm looking forward to working with Bruce Pritchard as well. A very middle-of-the-road, very safe reply in Newsweek by Apollo Crews. Crews continued on and noted that they're going to make magic together, and he's excited for what's to come and where he's at right now. He thinks WWE officials are seeing what he can do after the past few months by taking this latest opportunity and running with it. So much so that he's been in 2 injury angles off of TV. Once he was injured by Andrade, and not in the Money in the Bank ladder match, if you guys remember that. And now he's been off TV for 3 weeks? and they unveiled a new United States Championship for somebody that isn't the United States Champion. Yes, but they want Apollo Crews on television. Please. No, they don't. They're scheming and planning every which way to take the title off of Apollo Crews. Now, Apollo Crews will win this match with MVP. He will win the United States Championship match tonight at Extreme Rules. He will be rewarded the new United States Championship. But that doesn't mean he's going to be the United States Champion for as long as everybody thinks he's going to be the United States Champion. We are going to get Apollo Crews as the United States Champion going up against Bobby Lashley at SummerSlam. MVP will not get the job done. He's got nobody to blame but himself. Lashley's going to come in, step up for his boss or his advocate, and he's going to win the United States Championship, and Bobby Lashley is going to be the new United States Champion at SummerSlam, and Apollo Crews. Titus is wondering where you are, bro. He loves your cooking style. He thinks you are dedicated to the kitchen. You'll be back there, and Titus will be a happy individual. And Apollo Crews deserves better. I'm going with Apollo Crews tonight. He will be the new United States Champion. And then come SummerSlam, he's losing that belt to Bobby Lashley. Otherwise, why has Bobby Lashley been booked like a savage? Why has he buried Cedric Alexander? Why has he buried Ricochet back-to-back weeks? You know he's going to be set up for something big, and that big is the United States Championship. So that's that. Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Now, we all know that Dolph Ziggler getting a WWE Championship at this match, or at this show in this match, does not make any sense whatsoever. In fact, Brian Alvarez on Twitter revealed something that was very interesting, a very interesting stat about Dolph Ziggler. Alvarez tweeted, and I quote, "Fun fact, the challenger for the WWE title on Sunday has won exactly one singles match in 2020, and it was over Tucker Knight." End quote. That's Dolph Ziggler's 2020, folks. He's got one win all year. It is July 19. He's got one win all year in a singles match. Unbelievable. But I'm supposed to believe that Dolph Ziggler is going to win the WWE Championship. I'm supposed to believe Dolph Ziggler deserves a WWE Championship opportunity. Oh, man. Nothing like that token Dolph Ziggler WWE Championship match for the year. Last year was against Kofi Kingston. Last year, it should have been me. This year, it's, you owe me. It's exactly what it is. And I don't want to hear that I hate Dolph Ziggler or I disrespect Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler's creative has been fucking terrible. If there's one thing about WWE, if it's one thing that they could do to get anybody as little interested in anything, disinterested in anything, it would be Dolph Ziggler. Put Dolph Ziggler in anything. He's a loser. You portray him as a loser, what do you think the fans are going to look at when they think of Dolph Ziggler? A loser. He's one of the best wrestlers in the entire company. He shouldn't be as bad as he is, or be as badly booked as he is. Now, there was a rumor going around, or a headline going around, with this stipulation. Apparently, the stipulation will be announced tonight. They saved it for tonight as if it's some big fucking deal. Nobody gives a shit. Just announce the stipulation. But there was a Facebook advertisement that leaked this match with the match graphic for Extreme Rules. And this match being a TLC match, a tables, ladders, and chairs match, which makes no fucking sense whatsoever because you have a TLC pay-per-view in December with that entire match concept headlining the entire show. Ladder matches and chairs matches and TLC matches. So you're going to have a pay-per-view called TLC, but you're going to hold a TLC main event for the WWE Championship here tonight in a TLC match between Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre? How does that make any sense? Unless you're going to get rid of the TLC concept, which should have been in effect already. Get rid of TLC, get rid of Hell in a Cell, get rid of the Elimination Chamber. All of those matches should be matches that you see once in a blue and are blow-offs to feuds or play a factor in a feud, in a big storyline. Not because, oh my God, it's October, it's Halloween season, because Hell in a Cell is in October. I have to anticipate Hell in a Cell match every year. Or WWE, hey, it's Halloween, and we got Hell in a Cell. The word hell is synonymous with Halloween. Hell in a Cell, Halloween, October, ha ha ha. Give me a break. Give me a break. These matches should be just exiled for a little bit and only brought back to enhance feuds. So a TLC match is not something that I'm interested in, but I did pitch a ladder match between Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre because I could see both of these guys excelling at a ladder match. Now, Dolph Ziggler and Drew McIntyre have been quoted saying that it's something that we've never seen before. It's going to be something that is very different than anything we've seen before. What could it be? WWE has done literally everything. Is it something where Drew McIntyre can only use the Claymore kick in the beginning of the match? Is he going to have time intervals where he could use the Claymore kick? I don't understand it. I don't really understand what they're doing. I pitched a poker match. Now, yes, I was joking around when I said it, but Dolph Ziggler, I just hung on to what Dolph Ziggler said on his recent interview on The Bump. He said Drew McIntyre showed his face. He showed his poker face during this entire ordeal. All right, so if he showed his poker face, you know what his poker face is. Why not have a poker match? Just 30 minutes, have a dealer in the ring, right? Even include the bar fight with Sheamus and Jeff Hardy. Have the bar fight happening. You know, you can have a waitress come over and bring some alcohol over from the bar fight. It'll be cool. It'll be different. Have a fucking dealer there. We'll play Texas Hold'em. WWE Championship will be in the pot, right in the middle of the table. If Dolph Ziggler knows Drew McIntyre's poker face so well, it should be an easy win. He should have the title in the bag. That would be more entertaining than anything this feud has given us already on Monday night. Now, I know that's not going to happen. I'm joking around when I say that, but I genuinely don't know what type of stipulation this is going to be. Apparently, according to the Facebook leak, it's going to be a TLC match. And at that point, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't even make any sense why Dolph Ziggler's in this fucking title match to begin with. Never mind his one win all year. He was a SmackDown superstar that came over to Raw, didn't wrestle a fucking match on Raw. Okay, you're new here. We'll give you a WWE Championship match. That just goes to show you that WWE has no heels on Monday Night Raw that are worth anything to go up against Drew McIntyre outside of Randy Orton. Same thing's happening on SmackDown, but they got heels over there. They got no baby faces to feud with Bray Wyatt or Braun Strowman. It's going to be Bray Wyatt. Who is the only babyface on SmackDown that they could feud with Bray Wyatt after SummerSlam when he wins the title? Jeff Hardy? Jeff Hardy's in legal trouble. His court dates got suspended, so nobody knows what's going on with that. WWE's got no baby faces on SmackDown when it comes to Bray Wyatt winning that Universal Championship. Daniel Bryan, been there, done that. We've seen that already. You know, I heard some people in the community say, why don't they call up Finn Balor to SmackDown? Have Finn Balor go up against Bray Wyatt at SummerSlam and have that be the one-year anniversary. I'm not interested in that either. Yeah, there's history there, but what history is there? Are you going to give me the Demon versus the Fiend? Why does Bray Wyatt need to be in a situation against Finn Balor, and Finn Balor needs to be used as a, hey, we're going to use you because we got nobody else situation? Finn Balor's much better than that. You don't want to waste Finn Balor on that. And by the looks of it, Finn Balor is going to factor into something Johnny Gargano related going into the next takeover. You mean to tell me I'm supposed to watch NXT and have Finn Balor feud with Johnny Gargano, but also feud with The Fiend at the same time? You can't intertwine two different shows and two different storylines for one guy. It's not going to make any sense. WWE has a real issue. That's why we all know for a fact that Braun Strowman and Bray Wyatt are going to be the Universal Championship match at SummerSlam because WWE has no baby faces on SmackDown. They're hoping for Roman Reigns to come back. And even at that point, what's the outcome going to be? Bray Wyatt's going to be dead and The Fiend is going to be finished for good. On Monday Night Raw, they got no fucking baby. They got no heels for babyface Drew McIntyre. All they got is Randy Orton. But it doesn't make sense that Dolph Ziggler's on Raw and all of a sudden he walks right in after being traded and he gets a WWE Championship match. I don't even think Dolph Ziggler thinks he could win this match. Drew McIntyre's going to win, and we got Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton planned, no question, for SummerSlam. It's either Randy Orton or Brock Lesnar. And from the reports that I read, Brock Lesnar's not showing up at SummerSlam, so it's going to be Randy Orton. I've said it time and time again. I don't think Drew McIntyre should lose the WWE Championship. I would not book Drew McIntyre to lose the WWE Championship. But WWE might be thinking in a way that Randy Orton is so hot right now that they have no choice. They might be thinking ahead. Hopefully fans in attendance next year. They might save Drew McIntyre's real title reign for when there are fans because they genuinely enjoy what he's done and they want to give to him what they wanted to give to him, and that is a full-blown WWE Championship celebration with fans. Now, I could be completely off with that. I don't know. But Randy Orton right now, if Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre is your main event for SummerSlam, there's absolutely no conceivable way anybody should be booking Randy Orton to lose. In fact, I booked the entire storyline to include Tommaso Ciampa and Adam Cole. You bring up Adam Cole in the Undisputed Era, and you play that into the Edge storyline. And Edge, according to sources and according to reports, Edge gave an injury update and his status for his return to WWE and when he's going to come back. He said with Comic Book, the website, comicbook.com, I don't know. It was a month yesterday when this interview took place. It's so hard to tell in that initial kind of 2 months where it's at and where everything is. I've been happy with the fact that I rebound from injuries pretty quickly. Could be a hint there. We don't know. But I don't think he'll be ready by SummerSlam. I got back from a torn Achilles in 6 months, which is kind of stupid. But, you know, I'm also older now, so I don't know what that means. I've never had a surgery in my 40s, so I don't know how quick I recover anymore. My guess is what I'm saying, I don't know. I honestly don't know. One thing I have learned is rather than rushing back, I need to listen to my body, and I need to listen to my body more than I think. Even with the Backlash match, my arm was sore going into it, but I didn't realize. So he was injured before he even got into the match. It just got injured in the match, which was a high risk, and he took that risk. I didn't think anything was going on. It was just a little sore. Well, that makes sense. When I got the surgery, the doctor said there was a pretty good chance it was a partially torn, tricep going into the match. I didn't know that. I just thought my elbow was a little sore. But when you're a wrestler, stuff gets sore. That shit happens. So I just need to listen more, I guess. Back to the point of how long. I don't know. I'm just going to listen to my body and truly listen to my body this time. Make sure I have self-care, which I never really paid attention to before. Whether that entails yoga, cold plunges, saunas, whatever that is, I just need to do more of it, especially being 46 years old now, end quote. If Edge is not going to be in this feud until he comes back, legitimately, which might not be all year, Randy Orton winning the WWE Championship against Drew McIntyre is the right outcome. Save Drew McIntyre for next year. I don't think he's going anywhere. Randy Orton wins the WWE Championship. Randy Orton takes care of Drew McIntyre. Randy Orton injured Edge, took him out. Injured Christian, took him out. Injured Big Show, took him out. Took the WWE title off of Drew McIntyre. Injured Ric Flair. Takes Ric Flair out. There's a chance that Ric Flair could get physical on this thing with Randy Orton's eye shots at Ric Flair on Monday Night Raw. I'm expecting a punk kick to Ric Flair in the next 4 weeks, no question. No question. Ric Flair might be the other legend. That's why they might have paired Ric Flair with Randy Orton, because he's a legend and they're playing up the revival of the Legend Killer with Randy Orton. Randy Orton's the WWE Champion. Tommaso Ciampa comes out after SummerSlam on Monday Night Raw and sticks up for Edge. He is sick and tired of what Randy Orton has done on Monday Night Raw, starting with taking out Edge and injuring Edge. Tommaso Ciampa has cited Edge as a major influence. Similar injuries. Edge's career was almost over. Tommaso Ciampa's career was almost over. He came back better than ever. And who knows how much time he has left. They're doing nothing with him on NXT right now. So why not give him a one-off with Randy Orton and really play up the fact that he's sticking up for Edge, who he finds to be a major inspiration in coming back from the same injury that Edge had. And then, if you want Randy Orton to be involved with Tommaso Ciampa, you can get Adam Cole involved as well. And when Edge comes back, you can have Tommaso Ciampa team with Edge. You can have Adam Cole team with Randy Orton. You can have matches on and off there. Edge and Randy Orton, whether it be at the Royal Rumble or WrestleMania for the WWE Championship. Edge would win the WWE Championship. And then Adam Cole can come out and battle Edge for the WWE Championship and take the WWE title off of Edge. And that could be it. And then you can lead into Adam Cole versus Drew McIntyre on Monday Night Raw for the WWE Championship. For some reason, I think that just flows very seamlessly into things. It's picking up where you left off with Tommaso Ciampa, Adam Cole. You're playing into the Tommaso Ciampa Edge inspiration fact. Obviously, Randy Orton stated that he wants to work with Adam Cole. That would be great. Adam Cole and Edge in a match, knowing that we know Edge can go 40 minutes with Randy Orton and deliver a great fucking match. Imagine what he can do with somebody younger like Adam Cole for a possible WWE Championship. I think it ties in very well. But Randy Orton is not on the show. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler. We know the outcome of that. McIntyre is going to win, go to SummerSlam as the WWE Champion. Randy Orton and the Big Show. This is a blow-off for a one-off. Big Show is a legend, supposedly. In some people's eyes, he's a legend. To me, he's a legend, but he's not someone that I want to see on TV. Randy Orton's going to take care of the Big Show. The reason why the Big Show and Randy Orton's not on the Extreme Rules show is because WWE wants to generate ratings for Monday Night Raw. So they're saving this as an unsanctioned match on Monday night. Why it's unsanctioned, I don't know. We got a fucking eye for an eye match on Sunday night at Extreme Rules, but somehow WWE sanctioning that match. But the Big Show versus Randy Orton is an unsanctioned match. I don't know how that fits into logic, but this is WWE, so I'm not surprised. But they're doing an unsanctioned match on Monday, and they think that that's going to generate ratings. It might pop a rating. I don't think the rating's going to be over 2, but WWE saving that match specifically for Monday and not Sunday. Same thing's happening with Jeff Hardy. They're not doing the Jeff Hardy Sheamus bar fight on Sunday night at Extreme Rules. They're saving that for Friday because Sheamus said, "I'll see you on Friday, fella. You junkie." So they're doing that for the same reason they're doing Randy Orton and Big Show on Monday, Sheamus and Jeff Hardy on Friday because they want to generate ratings, which right now are in the gutter from Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. But ratings don't matter according to WWE. Remember when they used to say ratings don't matter? Oh, but you're doing everything possible, every effort possible to make sure that the ratings are up by taking these two matches that we thought were going to be on the pay-per-view and you're putting them on Monday and Friday, which they should do more often. They should do more pay-per-view-esque Raws and SmackDowns more often. Not everything needs to be on the show. Now, the fact that WWE, this is something that I haven't heard people report. The fact that WWE is pulling these two matches from the show tonight and only has what they have on the show tonight, WWE has a new mandate from Vince McMahon that went into effect that will greatly affect Extreme Rules. According to Sportskeeda, they are going to have longer matches on Sunday night. They are stating that cinematic matches are going to be very long. Rollins and Mysterio is going to go long. Bray Wyatt versus Braun Strowman is going to go anywhere between 20 and 30 minutes. And every other match, being that there's only 6 matches, they're going to go out there and be given a lot of time. WWE pulled these 2 matches off the show for ratings on Monday and Friday, and now it's going to affect the pay-per-view where these matches are going to be kind of drawn out a little bit. So Apollo Crews and MVP might get 20 minutes. Bayley versus Nikki Cross might get 20 minutes. Sasha versus Asuka might get 20 minutes. Some people could watch them for 30, 40 minutes. You know, the Wyatt Swamp fight, 30 minutes. Drew McIntyre versus Dolph Ziggler could get 20, 25 minutes. It's going to be a long night of wrestling. As long as it doesn't go over 3 hours, I'm good. Because TakeOver is the proper model. In my eyes, 5 matches. You really build matches in that 2.5 hours. You don't need to go extensive. You don't need to go long. You don't need to overwhelm the viewer. 6 matches here should not eclipse 3 hours. They should be fine. They should be right in that sweet spot. Come on here. We'll talk about it. We'll bullshit. We'll do Off the Script live tonight. Should be a good time. But that is the new mandate that will greatly affect Extreme Rules. Dolph Ziggler is not beating Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Bayley versus Nikki Cross for the SmackDown Women's Championship. Now, I know everybody watching me knows how I feel about Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross and how we're just tired of seeing these certain wrestlers over and over and over again. It's ridiculous, but the fact of the matter is, going into this match, it should be a good match. Bayley is the SmackDown Women's Champion. Nikki Cross is very good. That doesn't mean I like her. That doesn't mean I like this current version of Nicole Cross. Give me the NXT version of Nikki Cross, and we're good to go. But this current version of Nicole Cross is just absolutely cringe. Alexa Bliss is no better. But the biggest takeaway from this is, if WWE is really thinking of Sasha and Bayley at SummerSlam for the SmackDown Women's Championship, why on fucking earth would you book Bayley to lose this match going into SummerSlam? Now, we all know that's the match everybody wants. That's the plan. If Bayley loses the championship to Nikki Cross, the story is dead. The story is dead. How do we get Bayley to win? Simple. You don't change anything that Bayley has done in the weeks leading up to this. Bayley has cheated her ass off. Bayley is a heel. Bayley has really settled into that heel role, which has been great. Good for her. She's doing a great job. Bayley and Sasha are some of the best parts of these shows. I'm not saying that these shows are good. They're not. But Bayley and Sasha have been the backbone of Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and they've been leagues more entertaining than anything else on Monday and Friday night. Bayley's got to cheat to win. Bayley has to cheat to win. I even said that Sasha and Bayley are doing so well that I don't even want to see them break up. I would actually hold the match off and not even have it at SummerSlam. Now, what I'm about to tell you did not come from me. It came from a very good source of mine, somebody who I trust immensely. And him and I were talking, and he popped something at me that kind of just took me back. And I'm like, holy shit, this is like fucking brilliant. I didn't even think of this. Why does Sasha and Bayley have to break up? Because that's where we all know the storyline is going. Why does it have to happen at SummerSlam? Why does it have to be for the championship? Now, imagine if Bayley is cheating to win. And everybody expects Sasha to kind of get involved and maybe, help Bayley retain the title tonight. And Bayley will do the same thing for Sasha against Asuka. And Bayley will actually fuck up in Sasha's match and help Sasha not really win the title, but help Asuka retain the title. So Sasha's going to help Bayley retain, and Bayley's going to help Sasha lose because of some fucking accident that's going to happen, and that's going to be the situation that's going to tear them apart. What if Bayley wins and has help from Sasha, or whatever, cheats to win, nefarious means, but what if Bayley helps Sasha beat Asuka, and Sasha becomes the Raw Women's Champion? Now, I know some of you may be thinking, well, Sasha is not a SmackDown Sasha's not a Raw superstar, she's a SmackDown superstar. Yeah, I get it. But WWE really hasn't played into the fact of that there's a brand-to-brand invitational, that there's a brand split right now, so it's entertaining television, and I'm trying to weigh the negatives with the positives, the pros and the cons, and I do think that if you go in one direction, it could actually help the women's division. If Bayley retains the title, which she should, cheats to win, and actually comes out later and helps Sasha win the Raw Women's Championship, and she's the Raw Women's Champion, what if we get Asuka, Kairi Sane, and Bayley and Sasha Banks heading from Extreme Rules, head into SummerSlam, head into the Hell in a Cell, and we get a Hell in a Cell match between Sasha, Bayley, and Asuka, Kairi Sane at Hell in a Cell. Tag team titles, women's tag team titles on the line inside Hell in a Cell. And they cheated to win. Every single time they're in the ring, they've cheated to win, starting to really get under people's skin. And they get into Hell in a Cell. There's no way for them to cheat now. Asuka gets a rematch, right? Kairi Sane can get a match against Sasha Banks. Sasha overcomes it all, right? Bayley, still the women's champion, cheating to win there on whoever she goes on to defend that title against. Enough is enough. Asuka and Kairi say, enough is enough of this shit. We weren't trained on this. This is not the way we operate. So put them in Hell in a Cell. There's no way for them to cheat there. There's no rules. Sasha and Bayley, they win Hell in a Cell against Kairi Sane and Asuka, retain the tag team championships. They are on top of the world because they won legitimately. And then they got the fucking anvil coming right down on their head. We're going to Survivor Series. And my guy hit me with something that I did not expect. I'm like, this is fucking brilliant. Why does it have to end now? Why do we got to split them up now? Keep it going. Does WWE have the fuel to keep it going? They should. If they listen to Sasha, if they listen to Bayley, if they listen to the people involved in the storyline, they could absolutely continue to give this fuel to run. Coming out of Hell in a Cell, Sasha and Bayley own all the championships. Come Survivor Series, management now brings it down on Bayley and Sasha that you've owned the women's division. You think you're on top of the world. Sasha is going to captain the Raw team. Bayley's going to captain the SmackDown team as Raw and SmackDown Women's Champions. Now they have to be pitted against each other. And that's where the split happens. That's where the turmoil comes in. And it doesn't have to be about the championship. It doesn't have to be about the championship. Sasha could lose the Raw Women's Championship back to whomever. Bayley could lose the SmackDown Women's Championship to whomever, right? And it couldn't be about, or shouldn't be about at that point, the championships. It should be about the fact that they're captaining each other and wanting to beat each other and wanting to be better than each other. That the whole premise of this feud moves on from the championships, but it's Bayley and Sasha simply fighting because they hate each other. It's gotten to a point of pure hatred. Their friendship is completely over. Who is better than who? Bayley thinks she's better than Sasha. Sasha thinks she's better than Bayley. Imagine having them own all the championships, and then at the end, they are forced to captain Survivor Series teams against each other. That is just brilliant fucking logic. I didn't even think of that. That's great fucking booking. Now, I didn't come up with that. I don't want anybody in the chat to think I came up with that. My guy came up with that. I owe that to him. That is brilliant fucking shit. It really, really is. Now, I don't think WWE is going to do that. I don't think WWE is going to do that. They're going to go the simple route. They're going to do what everybody expects them to do tonight. Asuka's going to beat Sasha. Bayley's going to be the SmackDown Women's Champion. And simple booking would call for Bayley to get help from Sasha. Sasha not get help from Bayley. Lose. So Sasha says, you fucked me over. Now I'm coming for your championship. And that's how you get it to SummerSlam. Simple. Because WWE is simple. They don't know. Then we get Asuka. Asuka's still the Raw Women's Champion. She goes and defends the title against Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair in a triple threat match. Charlotte comes back. She's the Raw Women's Champion. She's filming some TV show. You know WWE is going to want to have Charlotte as the fucking Women's Champion because she's going to be on this TV show. So that's the way it's going to end up. It's going to end up in a political fucking situation. The agenda of Charlotte's going to rear its ugly head again, and then we'll all be back in the same fucking boat. And the women's division will be worse off for it. And then we'll go back to what was the women's division before Charlotte went out with elective surgery. Or if WWE is smart and want to keep the title on Asuka, in comes Shayna Baszler, supposed career-ending angle or career-ending injury storyline with Kairi Sane. Shayna takes out Kairi. Asuka tries to avenge Kairi by going after Shayna. Shayna beats both Kairi and Asuka back-to-back. And we get Shayna as the new Raw Women's Champion. And then Bianca Belair could be one to kind of rise to prominence there. We get Shayna versus Bianca. That's the way it should have been from the get-go. But WWE didn't do that. Now, you know, it's still a possibility, but I don't think WWE is going to do that. So we'll see. I'm going with WWE not doing the right thing and going the easiest route because fuck women's wrestling. That's their mentality. So I'm going with Asuka to win because Bayley's going to screw Sasha Banks mistakenly by accident, but Sasha's going to help Bayley beat Nikki Cross, and we're off to the running for Bayley versus Sasha for the SmackDown Women's Championship at SummerSlam. That's what I think is going to happen. And that is all of Extreme Rules, folks. That is all of Extreme Rules. Let me know what you think about that down below. Let me know how you feel about all that down below. And sound off. The comment section is yours. We got some super chats here, man. We got 1,200 watching. Thank you guys so very much. Hit that thumbs up, man. We got 1,200 watching right now. What the fuck are you waiting for here, bro? Hit that thumbs up. I'm giving you fucking gold here. This is Off the Script, episode 335. Pre-show for Extreme Rules, the horror show. I'll be back live tonight on YouTube with the post show. I'll be tweeting live during the show at JD from NY206. Follow me on Twitter. Make sure you guys check out part 1 of Off the Script live on the channel right now. So go and check that out immediately after this is over. Let's hit those super chats, guys. Thank you for all the super chats here. Daniel Easterday, $5. You've had another amazing week of shows. The new apartment looks awesome. Excited for the future of Off the Script. Thank you, Daniel. I appreciate all your support, brother. Steve Wynyard, 20 pounds. He says, I will super chat right now the cost of a Jesse meet and greet with Britt Baker if first a big picture of it is put on the wall behind you for all your videos, and second, if there's a JD meet and greet picture with Vicky Guerrero to match. I think we can make that happen. And if I can make that happen, I will definitely get both of those pictures framed and put them on the wall behind me, no question. Steve, thank you. And Jesse cannot wait to meet Britt Baker. He cannot. He's super excited. But Steve, thank you for the 20 pounds, man. I appreciate it. JP, my beer-loving goon. What's up, brother? JD, during your AEW NXT live stream, I heard about What's Up with Blueberry Pancakes by Evil Twin Brewing. I looked it up, and I can't wait to try it out myself. In the meantime, I'm enjoying OTS with a classy one called Divine Symmetry. Sounds fucking great, bro. Let me know what that tastes like. That sounds awesome. And thank you for the $20, brother. I really appreciate it. Steven Field, $9.99. What's going on, JD? Keep up the great work. Always producing true content and telling it like it is. Thinking about getting myself the Ridge. Well wishes, brother. Bro, the Ridge is phenomenal. Get yourself a Ridge. Ridge.com/script. Use code SCRIPT at checkout for 10% off. The best wallet I've ever owned, man. Steven, thank you so much, brother. Young Bibby, what's up, man? $4.99. Any plans to do a watch-along for older pay-per-views on Twitch? Also, Sheamus should be Universal Champion. Once I get settled, for sure, we'll start doing the watch-alongs on Twitch. No question. I would love to do something Money in the Bank related. I've got it in the back of my mind. I would love to rewatch Money in the Bank, CM Punk versus John Cena, where he walks out the Summer of Punk with the WWE Championship. I just have that in the back of my mind, and we just celebrated that anniversary there, and Punk actually talked about it, you know? If there's anybody he would come back to the WWE for, I think he would love another match with John Cena. They just work so well together. John Cena, in the annals of his career, you know, I honestly think they're, both of them, back and forth, their greatest rival. I really do. John Cena's greatest rival, I'd say CM Punk, AJ Styles, you know, Edge is another one, but definitely, I want to do some more watch-alongs for sure. Donnie Films, $10 super chat. Keep up the great work, JD. Hope you are enjoying your new apartment. I have a feeling they are going for the Walking Dead Negan scene for the eye for an eye match. I would not be surprised by that. I got Lucille right there in the corner, a mock Lucille. It's not a real baseball bat with barbed wire, but maybe. We'll see. Negan was great. I love Negan so much that we did the best-selling off-the-script t-shirt in the history of the podcast, that Negan design. I got to get a new one, man, even though Negan is not really prominent anymore. But Donnie Films, $10 super chat. Thank you so much, brother. Jacob Donnelly, what's up, man? $10 super chat. Just curious, but will you be covering Gallows and Anderson Talking Shop podcast? Interested to hear your take on them resigning and almost debuting on Dynamite's debut episode. Jacob, I don't really give a shit. You know, I listened to it. I listened to all 1 hour and 50 minutes of it. Barely got through it because that fucking asshole, he who shall not be named, moderated the entire thing. Funny how he was working with WWE and then was moderating and co-hosting a podcast that was anti-WWE. So if I'm Triple H or anybody in WWE, I'm never giving that fucking clown a job again. Why would they? But I don't know if I am. Maybe we'll talk about it on next weekend's Off the Script, but at that point, it's going to be old news. Who's going to give a shit about it? All I can tell you guys is I do not feel bad for Gallows and Anderson for not jumping ship. They had the opportunity to. They told the Bucks that they were coming in. Bucks had plans for them. And then they ended up taking the money and staying with the WWE, and then they got released. Karma. Karma's a bitch. And I do not think that Paul Heyman had a hand in their firing. Paul Heyman had a hand in their firing? Vince McMahon was the one who fired them. Paul Heyman may be a liar, but that's like me saying, I love beer. Yes, Paul Heyman's a liar. Everybody's been known to say Paul Heyman's a liar. Documented back in the days of ECW. Paul Heyman's a fucking liar. It's a business. It's a vindictive business. Of course Paul Heyman's a liar. But they have nobody to blame but themselves. They told the Bucks that they were coming in. And they didn't. They took the money. I don't feel sorry for them whatsoever. Laura Conway, $2.99. Thank you, Laura. Thank you so much. Tyler Myers, $5. What if WWE debuted Adam Cole and Undisputed Era on Raw the same way they debuted in NXT? I mentioned that when I talked about this overall thing. The same way that they debuted against Drew McIntyre at TakeOver 3 years ago, they could do the same thing at SummerSlam here with Randy Orton and Drew McIntyre for the WWE title. Same thing. Same thing. It would be great. I don't think WWE is going to go that route, but it would be very fun to see. Mike Williams, $5 super chat. What's up, bro? JD showing you some love, bro. Thank you, man. Cinematic Middleton, $5 super chat. JD, what's your advice on being a YouTuber? I admire your work ethic. Keep up the work. Stay blessed. Be yourself, man. That's all I could say. It took me a while to really get my wheels going. And the one thing I have always kind of told people in regards to being a podcaster or a YouTube person, I hate the term YouTuber. I think that's very cringe and lame. I don't know what it is. It just it may be me. But I'm a content creator. I create content on the internet, and I talk pro wrestling. It's my lifelong dream to be in pro wrestling in some capacity, and House of Glory has given me a home to do commentary, which I'm forever grateful for. You know, grateful to Brian and Amazing Red and everybody else in the House of Glory family. I can't wait to get back to work. So I got my foot in the door with them, and they've been giving me the opportunity to grow, and I am forever grateful for them. They're going to be my family forever. But I would say be yourself. Be yourself, and things will happen. Be yourself. Be true to yourself. You know, never be different than who you are. You see everybody in the community, these fucking UK guys, you know, what you see on their channels is an act. They put on a positive face and say shit that they really don't mean because they feel like it's going to generate a bigger audience, because it's going to generate, you know, people from the WWE and other promotions to watch them. Because if it was overly negative, they feel like nobody's going to watch them. I don't really give a shit. I don't really give a shit about that. I would rather be true to myself than fucking lie to everybody and be disingenuous to everybody just for the sake of, oh my God, somebody in WWE is watching me. I know for a fact people in WWE are watching me now. I know for a fact people in WWE watch what I do every single week. It's a given. It's a given. That's where they get most of their ideas. So whether you are good or a good little boy, if you're one of these UK geeks who wants to be positive, or if you're somebody like me that doesn't give a shit, that's unadulterated and unfiltered, and is going to give it to you like they see it, somebody's going to be watching. Somebody's going to be watching. But there is a lid for every pot, is what they say, right? I might not be somebody's cup of coffee. I might be somebody else's cup of coffee. That's good. I'm not going to be any different than what I am now. What you see here now is me. This is how I would talk to you in person. The amped up JD, obviously, it's like a pro wrestling character. It's amped up. It's JD, you know, on fucking 50 cups of Starbucks Sumatra coffee. Really. You know, that's me amped up. I am not like that in person. When I go on the rants I do, I'm not like that in person. But I am still me. The opinion is there. My stance is there. My view is there. Never change. Always be honest with everybody. Never be fake. A lot of what you see in the community is fake because a lot of people want a job. They want this notoriety by WWE. They want this notoriety by AEW or Impact or MLW or fucking New Japan, whatever. You know, there's a lot of frauds out there. A lot of these blue check marks are frauds. They're not true to who they are. You know, they will hold back a negative opinion for a positive opinion because of where it might get them. You will never find that here. Moving on here, man. Beast Mode engaged, $2 super chat. Braun Strowman. Yeah, we'll be doing the Braun Strowman. I'm pretty sure Braun Strowman's going to be running in the swamp. I would be surprised if he's not running in the swamp. Josh Breezy, $1.99. JD, you're the man. Got to have you on my podcast. I don't really do podcasts, bro, but I appreciate the offer. I appreciate the offer. Prince, $3.99. I'll take Naomi versus Sasha after Sasha and Bayley. I'll take Naomi and Bayley after Bayley and Cross. Let's do it. Steve Wynyard, 50 pounds. Oh, my God. I promised this for the meet and greet. Jesse, get ready to meet your role model, bro. I don't think Jesse is a big fan of Steve Wynyard, but I am. Thank you for the 50 pounds, brother. Really appreciate it. Matthew, $1.99. Thoughts on the Velveteen Dream scandal? Talked about it. I hope he's doing well. I hope everything that is being brought down on him and he's accused of, I hope he is cleared because he is super talented and I want to see him thrive and succeed He is great at what he does. CC Steven, $20. Hi, JD, just showing some love. Also, being a fan of yours since 2018, I'm so happy to not only see you grow, but to see you get vindicated for all you said about WWE. Keep up the great work. Hopefully that vindication is seen by more eyes, man. I've been proven right more than I've been proven wrong. Thank you so much for the $20, brother. And Cartier Alonzo, $2 super chat. As a future female wrestler, I learn a lot from OTS. That is probably the best comment I got all day. If you guys can take anything away from this, it is worth more than a subscription, a thumbs up, or a super chat, man. I am here not only to entertain, but I love pro wrestling, and the most important thing is I love to influence others no matter what. Guys, hit that thumbs up for me. Really, hit that thumbs up. I'm about to get out of here. I want to see close to 1,000 likes on this off-the-script pre-show for Extreme Rules, the horror show. I will be back. Where's my theme music? Yeah, bro. There you go. Guys, I'll be back for the post-show tonight. So make sure you follow me on Twitter, at JD from NY206. We'll go over all. I'll live tweet you guys. I'll be back here live. We'll talk about it. Make sure you guys check off the script on Saturday. Great show. Lots of SummerSlam implications. A lot of SummerSlam booking, fantasy booking. We'll see how much of it comes true. Go and check that out. Link is down below in the description. You guys can check the playlist. It's there. Also, Patreon, patreon.com/JD from NY206 if you guys want to show some extra support. Twitter, as always, like I said. And Audible, audibletrial.com/offthescript. Guys, I'm getting out of here. Have a good one. I'll see you tonight for the pay-per-view. I'm going to have a cold beverage on this hot, steamy, humid afternoon. And I'll see you right back here for the horror show as Extreme Rules hits all of us live tonight on the WWE Network. See you guys later.